Hi everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you here. Thank you very much for joining. You are more than expected, so it's very good to see to see that it's becoming quite a thing that you want to learn more about it. So today we will see the different type of innovations for grid buildings, depending on the type of buildings that you are in, type of buildings you manage. We will see different type of innovations that exist, and basically a building, um, a building in terms of sustainability, it's a bit like health, right? When we talk about health, there is not one solution that exists, so then we will feel better. There is not one medicine that we need to take, whatever the disease that we have, right? According to the disease we have, according to our body type, according to our age, different type of things. There are different type of medicines that exist, right? So sustainability for building, it's the same thing. There is not one solution that we need that will work for any type of building, right? Depending on the size of the building, the activity, the location. There are different type of solutions that exist. Some are better than others, and so we will tend to define the different type of buildings that will suit you the best. And so we will review the advantages and disadvantages of all the solutions and explain in this type of building what is good, what is better, and what is not. So let's start right away. So basically, I have one message for you today. Air conditioning is cool, but this is not a lame joke, right? What do I mean by this? Where air conditioning is the best invention of the 20th century, according to this gentleman on the left, because air conditioning basically helped Singapore to become the economical miracle that we know, right? Um, Basically, before air conditioning, it was hard to have meetings throughout the day. We were able to have meetings early in the morning, late in the afternoon, but in between, it was more complicated. And now it's obvious. Actually, recently, someone told me Singapore is a perfect weather because we have 23 to 25 degrees all year long, thanks to aircon. And so basically, indeed, with the aircon, we have this, right? It's not completely wrong, right? It's indeed a very nice weather if we think about it. When whether we take air conditioning into consideration or not. And so basically, aircon helped a lot the country in terms of comfort level, and in terms of financial aspect as well, economical aspect. What we couldn't predict, however, is that air conditioning will represent 30% of the carbon emissions of the country. One third of every emissions that is made in Singapore is linked to aircon. In the world, that's around 3%, right? Where in Singapore is 10 times greater. And despite having a lot of lights everywhere all the time, despite the fact that we like to, overall, we like the new, we waste quite a lot. Aircon is by far the number one criteria in terms of carbon emissions. And then when we talk about um, electricity consumption in a building, where around 2/3 of this is linked to aircon. 2/3 of everything, all the energy that we need in a building is linked to aircon. And this will go from offices to hotels to um, warehouses, and also data centers, manufacturing, all of it, right? Around 2/3 is aircon only. Obviously, it's higher for data centers, and but it's quite something, right? And then another thing that we need to think about, it's money, because the cost of energy is always on the rise. Here in just a few months, the cost of energy grew by 6%. This will not decrease, obviously. And so it means that basically what we are consuming today will keep growing over time. So it's crucial to start saving right now, because the sooner you save, the cheaper your economy bills become, right? The sooner you start saving energy, the less, right, this grows, this price rises will affect you. And so basically, what type of solutions exist today for you? What could you use so then your aircon consumption um, doesn't go too high? Or what type of solution exists so then your company, your building will become net zero as soon as possible? Well, basically, I will start with the oldest solution. This is a solution that still exists today, and help us to have net zero buildings, or help us, I would say, to have um, no aircon consumption at all. This is what we call a wind catcher. And so, as 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 um, the name says it, basically this will catch the wind. So basically, we have these towers in top of the roofs, right? The wind will come in, will go down the building through a big pipe, and it will basically bring some ventilations in the houses, right, in the homes. If the wind in itself was not enough, basically we could put some water just at the bottom of those towers, and basically the air will catch some of this water and will basically bring cooler air. This is something very, very simple, right? That still exists today. The issue is that where for new buildings or existing buildings, it's not really possible. Um, Another benefit to it is that basically we have it in desertic areas, right? So we have it in the Middle East, we have it in Dubai, that is a desert, right? Overall, it's present in the old Dubai, by the way, not really the new Dubai. In the old Dubai, you still have this. And so if you have it in desertic area, you can have it in different type of other areas, and you can have it in many different areas around the globe. So in Southeast Asia, it's definitely possible. In Africa, in some part of Americas as well, you can use it. So very good, quite cheap, um, quite efficient. Um, not really good for existing buildings. Then you may have issue with dust as well. So you need to you need to find a way in terms of filtrations that this is not really present there. But this solution has 3,000 years ago, and so this is quite impressive, I believe. It was the first type of central aircon, if we can call it this way. This is another type of aircon that is really impressive to me. This is based on biomimicry, so it's inspired by nature. It's inspired by termite mound, right? So termites, they make this mound. It's in a desert in Australia, and we have very cool temperature inside, even though we are in the desert. And basically, there is a famous architect that used this technology, I would say, use this innovation in order to make a building that doesn't require aircon. So this building here, it's a shopping mall in Harare, the capital of Zimbabwe. And so we have very hot temperature over there, temperatures, and still it's very cool inside. So how does it work? Well, basically we have plants here on the side, right? So the sun doesn't really come in. It will bring also some freshness. Then we have fans below the building. We can even put some water underneath, and so these ventilations come in. It arrives at the bottom of each floor, right? So it comes from the floor, literally, and then the heat will basically go higher in the area and then go out from the ceiling and leave the building through a big chimney. This simple type of innovation is something that is not really present today and still completely applicable, right? Again, it's applicable on new buildings, not really old buildings. Another issue that you have with this is that you cannot use it for really for the you cannot have the temperature exactly that you want to have, right? So there is a comfort level that is a bit lower that with aircon, basically. But it's net zero building. I mean, it's you don't require aircon. There are other technologies that you need inside, so it doesn't make it a net zero building per se. You will need to use solar panels if really you want to be net zero. But at least in terms of aircon, it's zero, right? So as you saw on the previous slides, it's 60% on average of the aircon of the consumption of a building that is reduced. So then you see for new buildings there are some solutions that exist. Then depending on the investment that you want to put in, depending on the cooling capacity that you want to have, right? There are other type of solutions that exist, and this will work on existing buildings. So we have seen what works on new buildings. Here we will see what exists on new buildings, on existing buildings. Sorry, something that is becoming quite trendy now. It's basically having white roofs or white buildings. So with this, we can save 15% energy on average on aircon. And it's quite simple, frankly speaking. So basically, how does it work? Where basically the sun rays, right? will basically have a sort of rebound effect, if I could say it this way. They will bounce, right? Because the white will basically reject them, by opposition to black buildings. In nature, animals understand it very well. So basically, elephants in Africa, they will basically go in the mud in order to becoming whiter when it's too warm for them. When the sun is too hot for them, they will go in the mud, so then it will change their color, so then they will attract the sun less. In Greece, they knew that 1,000 of years ago as well. If you think about it, it's obvious. However, this is what our cities look like. They are quite in a gray, dark tones. Myself, there is I just moved in a new estate, and there is a new building that it's next door, and it's completely dark and brown, or dark gray and brown. Yeah, okay, it looks nice. It just makes you consume much more aircon, so it's not sustainable at all. Um, and so basically, what are the pros and cons of this type of solutions? So pros, we say 15% energy on aircon, as we mentioned, very quick installation, and you can apply any other technologies that you want in the rest of the building. The cons that you have is that it's usually upfront cost that you need to use. There is a safety part, so basically you need to go on roof and stuff. So not really easy, and then you can save only energy on aircon, right? So there is only this benefits, and you will see that there are other benefits that we need to consider when we think about a green building. Here we place only on air conditioning. Then solutions that everybody knows today, it's solar panels, right? So solar panels can be very efficient, right? And as we have seen, it can be very good to reduce the electricity bill of a building. In most cases, the good thing is that we have no investment in solar panels. We have what we call PPA, PPA type of business model. So basically, we do not have any investment upfront in most cases, and then we save 5 to 15% on the electricity bill, not only aircon but electricity bill. There are also some disadvantage to this. It's not possible for any type of company, right? It's and not for any type of building either, right? So if you are in a building that is not your own, you will not use this. If your building is quite thin and high, the space that you have left for solar panels will be quite limited compared to the entire consumption of a building, right? So it's not for every company. It might not be suitable for any type of business. Then you have quite high maintenance as well, so you need to make sure that your solar panels are clean all the time, because if you have dust, right, well, basically you will affect the savings, and so you need to clean them, and this brings additional cost. So savings can be quite limited, right? 5 to 15%, it's good, but you will see that you can have better than this. It will act only on energy supply, not on other aspects like comfort. And usually you have quite long contracts, 10, 15, 20 years. So that can be quite long. Where will you be in 20 years, right? It's hard to answer. It's hard to answer this question. So you personally within the business, but also the business itself, right? Then there are other solutions that we see more and more linked to IoT, right? So IoT, it's a technology that we are seeing more and more since, I would say, pre-COVID. We started to talk about it, and we use it for different type of things, including when we want to save energy in buildings and improve comfort level as well a little bit, because we can basically change the effect of the temperature in some areas. So basically, IoT sensors, depending on the area you are in, will say, okay, in this room, there is nobody, so we can basically stop the aircon over there, or we can increase the temperature in this area since there is nobody. But as soon as someone comes in, then we will decrease the temperature again. Then we can say in some areas it's warmer or cooler, so it affects the comfort level of people. So we need to change. We need to change it. So then temperature will not be exactly the same everywhere. I will say the thermostat set point will not be exactly the same everywhere. So then we can have more local temperature. So it's basically better to what we really feel, what the people there really feel. We need to understand as well that from a corner to another in the room, we can have 5 degrees of difference. We have studied that in a hotel room, from the middle of the bed until the TV, right? TV usually is not very far away. We may have 3 meters in between. You can have 3 degrees of difference on average, right? On average, you have 3 degrees of difference. It's enormous, right? These are things that are very, very close. And it's not really something that us human beings can feel, right? But when you stay the entire day in an office, 3 degrees of difference can be a big thing. And when you have windows, when you are below the aircon, you will have much more variations of temperature. And so it's important to affect this and to change this. And IoT sensors help us to modify those big variations of temperature, on top of stopping aircon when we don't need it, or increasing the temperature when it's less needed. So these are, good advantages we can mitigate. Other things we can measure, right? We tend to say that if we don't measure, you don't manage. So today, air conditioning is still a big problem. It's still a lot of energy consumption, because we overall don't really measure it. In many buildings, we don't manage well air conditioning consumption. And if we don't manage well, we don't manage well. If we don't measure well, we don't manage well. And so with IoT sensors, we can measure quite well. And so this is something that is quite crucial. And also, with IoT sensors, we usually don't need upfront investment. The cons of this is that usually we have long commitment. It's minimum 2 years. It's usually quite high cost with it because basically we need to um, there's, I mean, the technology, the software um, can be quite costly, and we have people behind it. We have engineers that are improving constantly the model. So to say, uh, this area we can improve it. In this other area we can improve it as well. And so we have people by the time that will keep improving the model. So then you have higher savings. So this has a cost, right? And you might not uh, see it when you pay, because basically overall you will save energy, but it's still something that you pay indirectly. These IoT sensors will only play a role on energy, right? On air conditioning mainly, not really on air quality. And you will see that there are other solutions that can plays on both aspects. And usually you have 5 to 15% savings with this type of technologies um, that are usually wider than only aircon. It might be only aircon. Um, it might be more than aircon only. So then, once we have seen this, can it be better? Can we have other solutions? And so basically, this is what we are specialized in at Bizu. So myself, I am the founder and general manager of Bisu. I have other activities as well. I am also a professor at ESSEC Business School in innovation and sustainability. And so my specialty is in finding and offering solutions that not everybody knows about, but are crucial to have a big impact in terms of energy consumption in buildings. And what we offer to most buildings is this type of technology. So this technology helps us to save 10 to 50% in air conditioning, 25% on average, with a minimum of 10% and a maximum of 50% from what we have seen. And this helps us to then save quite a lot on aircon, and it will purify the air at the same time, and it will give a more homogeneous temperature all across the room. And we do that in just a few minutes. So it helps us to save drastic high percentage of energy. It helps us to purify the air. It helps us to have a more homogeneous temperature with just a very quick installation that takes only a few minutes. Sorry. Sorry. You will see with very little maintenance and with very high very high duration or very high lifespan. And so this technology, it's basically, as you can see, is as simple as this. I put it in front of me so then the background will not make it disappear, but basically it's something as simple as this. So then I will explain you how does it work? And as you can see here, quite a lot of companies and known company, knowledgeable company have already used it. Globally, around 1,000 businesses have already used it. And basically, how does it work? Well, it's very, very simple. We plug this between the filters and the coil of your aircon. And so basically how an air conditioning works, where the aircon that we have at home, right, um, will suck the air in from the top. This air will pass through the coil, and so the coil acts as a freezer, right? And so basically the air that is passing through the filters and then the coil, it's not only air, it's humidity as well, right? Because there is humidity in the air. And this humidity, it's basically water molecules or clusters of water molecules, as you can see here. And so these clusters of water molecules will pass through the coil. The coil will basically act as a fridge, right? And so it will make this water molecules cooler, and then these water molecules arrive in the room, cool, and so this is what will help us to cool down the room. When we plug our technology, so between the filters and the coil, basically these water molecules will spread into tiny molecules. And so this is linked to the ceramic that we have inside this net, inside this mesh. So there are specific ceramic. Actually, I can show you the ceramic here. You see some black particles, right? And so these black particles, it's basically a specific ceramic. And so this ceramic will release a specific type of infrared that will atomize, that will break down these water molecules. And so basically by breaking down these molecules, they will cover a larger surface area in the room, and so cool down the room faster. And so by cooling down the room faster, your aircon will basically run much less than what it used to. And so that's how we save energy. It's as simple as this. And then another effect that I mentioned, it's on temperature homogeneity. So as you see here, a room that is only 20 square meter. This is a lab from Tokyo Medical University laboratory. And this room of 20 square meters has 4 degrees of difference from a corner to another. And basically with our technology, we have exactly the same everywhere. So it means that when we have an office and people complain about the temperature being either too cold or too warm, usually it's too cold, because we want to make sure that people don't feel warm, right? And so we tend to make it a little bit cooler, where basically with our technology we do not have this type of problem, because since we have same temperature everywhere, we can better control it. I have seen with a client recently, client was saying that basically the aircon was blowing at a specific area, but the area was actually quite long. So they had to blow very cool temperature at first, so then the people who are at the end of the area don't feel too warm. But then it means that the people who are at the beginning of the supply of the aircon basically are freezing, right? People who are a little bit after feel a bit better, and people who are at the end either feel okay or feel too warm. With our technology, we do not have this type of issue anymore. We will have the same temperature everywhere. When we talk about warehouses, crucial as well, because basically it means that we preserve all the goods that are inside the warehouses much better. Whether we talk about AC warehouses, or whether we talk about, or if we talk about cold chamber, or big freezers, same thing. We will preserve the goods better. Recently, with containers as well, we have made an interesting studies, and we have seen that we're able to save drastically air conditioning consumption in freezers, in containers that are 20 degrees, or that are minus 20 degrees, around 0 degrees, or plus 13 degrees Celsius. Basically, we can see that in any case we can save energy. And then when we have, if we go back to the offices, if we have better homogeneity of the temperature across the office, where then we improve comfort level of people, and so we improve satisfaction as well of people. This type of technology, as simple as it is, right? As you can see, I can put it just in my pocket like this, because it's very, very simple, where it will fit any type of air conditioning unit, the new ones, the old ones, any type, data centers, hotels, warehouses, offices, any type of aircon will work. Even actually buses, trains, cars, it works as well. Installation is done very, very fast. So actually, this type of aircon will take a few seconds to install. When we talk about AHUs or FCUs, might take a little bit more time. It's still very, very fast. With CapitaLand, we equipped one of their buildings in just 2 hours. One building in 2 hours, right? With other type of technologies that we have seen, it might take days, right? Here we talk about just hours, and even during the day when there are people, it's not a problem. So overall, this simple piece of technology, this simple piece of technology that has 10 years of R&D behind it, that's why it looks so simple, will bring different type of benefits. It will purify the air. It will be very, very simple. It will improve staff comfort. There will be no maintenance. There will be no operating cost, and it will reduce your electricity bill. Other aspects to consider, we got quite a few interesting awards. We have amazing clients as well that got amazing savings. So that's made them very, very happy with what we are able to provide. And basically, if you register today, right? If you contact us today, and you let us know today that you are interested in going further, we give you a free site audit. We give you free installation. We give you free and 24/7 access to our latest dashboard, that it's wonderful, that you can really play with it. You can do anything you want with it, and then it will be fantastic to show to your management later on. There will be no surprises whatsoever, and we offer you as well 8% discount on your first order. So if you tell us today that you are interested in piloting your solution in your company, we will give you $2,500 to $5,000 of value directly onto your first order. If you want to have more information, you can scan those two QR codes, right? So on the right, this is my personal WhatsApp. On the left, this is LinkedIn. You can scan those QR codes and reach out anytime you want. Literally, I, I sometimes answer very late or very early, depending on how we see it. And now I will answer a few questions in the chat. We might not be able to answer all the questions, but I will tend to answer a few questions. Thank you very much for now.